It's like a history of beer book or how beer saved the world or something. It's a good read. Purely historical. So.
That's the whole team.
The other day, when the EDC meeting started, I had it up on another window. I had forgotten. Because I was like,
8 pounds.
I'll take a baker's dozen. That's not a bad price.
20 cans equals 1 pound.
20 cans. Oh, right. No way. 20 cans is a pound?
It's light.
I know. I would think it'd take more than 20 cans.
According
I
to,
think 1 can's about an ounce, though.
We're in college, we used to go back some of it.
I like the can crushers. I like them to be crushed
The recording.
and put them in the bag.
For there.
All right. I'll now call to order this meeting of the City of White House Council for today, May the 26th of 2026. It is 6 p.m. Ms. Nichols, will you please call the roll?
yes, sir. James Wansley,
Here.
Zach Briscoe,
Here.
Francel Burns, John Chambers,
Here.
Michael Lowe,
Here.
Matt Lazarine.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Will you please stand if you're able and join Councilman Lazarine if he leads us in a word of prayer.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing this group together to do the business of the city. This being the day after Memorial Day, I would like to say a special prayer for our fallen soldiers and then the current soldiers who are still out there defending our country. Please bless them, defend them, and keep them safe. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Please join the council in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
That sounded amazing. Thank you all. Please be seated. All right, that takes us to item D, presentations, of which we have none. So we're going to go down to item E, community interest. Here is an item of community interest, Mrs. Black.
Mayor and council, through early voting for the runoff election that is today, we had 2,142 voters that voted at Civic Center throughout that period. So it's pretty busy over the last couple of weeks.
Excellent. Lessons learned from the previous polling from the people that utilized it and were put into action, I take it?
Morgan, do you know of any? No. Okay.
Okay.
I put her on the spot.
I do think the convenience and the parking is one reason why a lot of people probably use it. Because like
Yeah.
the hub, the parking isn't as easy, so.
That was at the overflow parking when it got full, like directing people around. I saw the signs you guys had up, so I think that was it. Somebody did ask if we could put windows in that training room. There's no accessible exterior walls, so, but that's great. I'm so happy to see the city center being used for that and its many purposes. Anything else on the matter of community interest?
In fact, on that subject of the city center, the other day, to keep White House beautiful, the people were voting. The EDC and the fire department was there all in one day. Again, I mean, that's pretty good utilization. I was really proud when I went by there.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. That takes us down to item F, the consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. One of them is the approval of the minutes of the city council meeting on April the 28th of 2026. Also, we have the discussion, consideration, and action on Ordinance 26-0526-02, amending fire inspection fees, and Ordinance 26-428-428-04. Discussion, consideration, and action on Resolution R26-0526-01, making necessary changes to R26-0127-03 for the Patrol Vehicle Sustainability Grant. And the last one is discussion, consideration, and action on the engagement letter from GMP Assurance PLLC for audit services. If council would not like to take anything on the consent agenda and move it to the regular agenda, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve it as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the consent agenda is approved. We're moving on to item G, other action items, ordinances, resolutions, and public hearings. Number 1 is to receive public comment concerning mosquito control operations and practices. I had 2 people sign up for this, so I'll go ahead and call them up. When I call you, please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and then tell us what you'd like us to hear. Let me lay down some rules for public comment right quick. So, okay. So, you should be given 3 minutes to speak. A speaker needing a translator or an interpreter may be given 6 minutes to speak. Criticism of city employees or staff is prohibited. You've signed up, you've gone through the proper process. I really appreciate that. And here we go. You'll be speaking on specific agenda items, so please keep it for comments pertaining to that specific agenda item. First up is Tammy E. Jones. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, please come on up, state your name, address for the record, and tell us what you'd like us to hear, please.
Okie dokie. How far you want me to come up?
The podium right here.
So I'm gonna be speaking to you, not them.
That's correct. You're addressing
Okay.
council.
I've never done this before.
That's all
Not
right.
a
Most
problem.
people have.
Hello, y'all. How y'all doing this evening?
Good, thank you.
Fantastic.
As y'all know, my name is Tammy Jones, and I'm here to discuss the fogging in our neighborhood. Because it has been I'm sick right now, as you can hear. I've been running a fever for 2 days. And a lot of people in my neighborhood are sick, even people who leave the state and come back, once they get back into the neighborhood, they're running fevers and they're coughing and they're hacking and they're just sick. So, I've had to stand with my people. I live there, I'm not the manager, I guess she didn't come. So nobody else would stand up for my neighborhood, so I am. Because we've been through it a lot and all this, he said he's supposed to fog once a week, but it was 3 times in a week and a half. And we caught him several times, my cameras pick up everything, and I've tried to stop them, and so I could talk to them, they wouldn't let me. So, we couldn't talk to anybody and say, hey, what's going on, what are you doing, what's going on, what are you spraying? We couldn't ask any questions. So, now that everybody in the neighborhood's sick, and people's even ended up in the hospital, because they had breathing problems already, and now they're in the hospital. So, and I'm having breathing issues, it's a chest thing, it's just horrible. And so, I just wanted to come and speak for my neighborhood. I know there's a lot of other neighborhoods in White House going through the same thing. So, basically, that's all I wanted to say to y'all. I appreciate y'all for giving me the time to speak.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next to sign up to speak on this same subject is Courtney Davis. Come up and state your name and address for the record, Ms. Davis.
My name is Courtney Davis. I live at 1811 Waterton Circle. And so I noticed that the fogging was going on, but I know it's been going on for a long time. And most cities contract with pesticide companies to spray their neighborhood against mosquito illnesses. I realize that. But I choose to live organically, and I feel like it's not the city's decision to spray around my property when we were not given the choice, and our tax dollars go to pay for it. So in other words, my money is going to poison myself. And so I feel like I understand the city's point of view on it, but if I lived in the country, nobody would be spraying around my property unless I, paid for pest control to come to my property. So I don't feel like it's someone else's choice to choose what's sprayed around my property. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. I'm just one of the only ones here tonight. But, so I wish that the city would reconsider this contract Because, I mean, I don't wanna be exposed to it, but I had no choice. Somebody made the choice for me. And I just don't think that's right. So, I mean, and, you know, we pay a lot of taxes a year. You know, we, are law-abiding citizens. So I feel like the city should, at least let people, have the choice where it's sprayed around their home. So, that's just, I wish that y'all would consider my point of view.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that is all the speakers we have signed up on that subject. Any comments from council on this item? Questions?
If I understand correctly, the mosquito spraying gentleman is here, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, I just remember, this is telling my age, in 1964, 65, 66, we couldn't wait for the fog machine. I mean, we just had a ball, but that doesn't make it right. We also played underneath crop dusters. But, anyway, but is the mosquito gentleman, can you answer any questions?
I can, yes, most questions.
Okay,
Would you like to call him up?
come on up. It probably won't take but a second.
You could state your name and address for the record, please.
It's Danny Snell, 10477 FM 344E, White House, Texas, 75791.
Danny, thanks for coming to
Yes,
the
sir.
meeting. Is all this, what you spray, EPA approved?
Absolutely.
Okay. And, to your knowledge, it's not carcinogenic?
That is correct.
Okay, that's all I had to know.
Do you follow the protocols as lined out by the type of chemical?
Absolutely. The label is the law. A footnote to that, the label calls for a maximum application of 0.007 pounds of active ingredient per acre. Our current protocol is 0.0035, so half of maximum. And I can tell you what that relates to, 10 gallons of a solution mix over 38 miles.
This is kind of deep, but do you know how long that chemical has been in use under approval from the EPA?
So the current label was approved in 14. There was a previous label and there were some changes made, and I do not know the previous one, but 2014 is when it most recently been approved.
And how long have you been doing this?
As far as pest control,
Yes.
or pest control, I've been in the pest control business since 2020.
Okay.
So I guess I've never actually just seen the application done. Are you normally driving like just along the shoulder spraying?
No, so
these-
we have it's called a ULV fogger, ultra low volume fogger, and it creates, the whole goal is to get a particle in the air that stays airborne, so the adult mosquitoes will encounter the particle. So to do that, it has to be below 30 microns in size for it to float in the air. And our machine is rated at 20 microns, 80% of microns at 20% or less, up to 20 miles per hour.
And you're doing this late in the evenings, right?
Starting at 9 o'clock, yes.
Under certain wind conditions, I assume?
Yes, if there's no wind, we don't, because part of the application requires some drift, and obviously if it's a 20-mile-an-hour wind, it's not very helpful either.
So the goal is to cover the yard, I would imagine, right?
The goal is to
Water.
cover the yard and the trees and brush, yes.
Not the water. Is it to help with the mosquito larva?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, did you say, would you repeat your question?
The goal is to try to penetrate into the yard, to cover the yard, right?
The yards and yes, sir, and any place that harbors mosquitoes is what we're after. And we try to follow the label in regards to distance from running water, that kind of thing.
Well, that's why I'm asking is if an individual wanted to opt out, that's not, I mean, that doesn't even seem like an option because it'd be kind of hard to skip an address if you're applying it down a road, right?
That is correct. Our protocol is for the neighborhoods, the city streets and the neighborhoods within the city limits of White House.
Ms. Leslie, we don't have an opt-out portion of this to begin with, correct?
We have not, and I think to Mr. Snell's point, because it's in the air, that would be difficult.
It would have to be
for
a
us
neighborhood.
Like a whole
Yes.
neighborhood.
Yeah. So it'd have to be a consensus in the neighborhood to opt out, to truly opt out.
Correct.
And Mr. Snell, would weather conditions impact what day you were spraying on?
Absolutely. Generally, we prefer to spray on Thursday nights. But it could be Tuesday night, could be Wednesday night, but if it's raining all those nights, it could be Friday night. So we're not gonna do it in the rain, we're watching the weather, so it does impact when we do it, but the current protocol calls for every other week in the months of March, March, June, July, October, and November, and every week in the months of April, May, and then August and September.
And just to be clear, you're going through every neighborhood, not
That's-
just certain areas.
That is correct, in the city limits, that's correct.
How long does it take you to go through the whole city? All
About
things being
2
good.
hours longer than I wish it did.
Okay, okay.
At 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
It's about, the best I can currently do is about 4 hours and 20 minutes, between 4 hours 20 and 4 hours and 30 minutes.
You're a lot more quieter than than rap music going on in a car, I can tell you that. My windows shake.
Any more questions?
None for me.
All right, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the questions. Really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Mr. Danny.
All right, thank you, appreciate y'all.
So, any discussion?
I mean, this is a non-action item, correct? At this point?
Correct, you could give staff direction if you wanted to do so.
I think the benefits of spraying for the mosquitoes far outweighs any risk.
Well, you got encephalitis and all kinds of other diseases that could, maybe won't, but maybe could happen. And I think that's life-threatening.
I was sitting on my back porch the other day getting eaten up, so I remember telling my wife I wish we'd spray more, so.
It kills good insects though too, in gardens. Our bees, I've got bees in the neighborhood. People growing them.
Danny's going? Dang it.
They spray on private property.
Any more discussion? All right. That takes us down to G2, discussion, consideration, and action on ordinance 26-0428-01, high-risk commercial use, amending the City of White House combined zoning ordinance by establishing regulations governing high-risk commercial uses, including vape shops, credit access, those are payday and auto loans, businesses, and skilled gaming businesses. Mr. Hooter.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The City of White House has experienced increased interest in certain commercial uses that may present heightened secondary impacts, including vape shops, credit access businesses such as payday and auto title lenders, and skilled gaming businesses. These uses may create concerns related to youth exposure, vulnerable populations, calls for service, nuisance activity, and compatibility with nearby residential and commercial areas. The proposed ordinance establishes zoning, spacing, operational, signage, and specific use permit requirements to manage the location and operation of these uses while supporting orderly development and protecting public health, safety, and welfare. The proposed high-risk commercial use ordinance was originally presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council in April for consideration. The item was tabled after staff identified additional state law notification requirements that needed to be addressed before final action. Staff needed to send a notice to each affected business 10 days prior to the first public hearing. During that discussion, City Council also directed staff to research potential options for requiring existing high-risk commercial uses to cease operations. Since that time, staff has provided the required notice, reviewed the matter with the city attorney, and evaluated available options. Based on that review, staff recommends moving forward with action on this ordinance at this time to establish regulations for future high-risk commercial uses while preserving existing lawful businesses as legal non-conforming uses. Additional options related to existing businesses may be explored separately at a later date. One possible approach would be to hire a qualified third party to determine the valuation and methodology for compensating affected businesses in exchange for ceasing operations. Any such process would require negotiation with the business owners. If an agreement cannot be reached, the business owner would have the ability to appeal the valuation and determine the determination to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And any further remedy would need to be pursued through the appropriate legal process. Under this approach, affected businesses would generally retain the right to either accept compensation or continue operating until the negotiated value or legal remedy is resolved. This item was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission on May 19th, and the Commission recommended approval by City Council with the additional language including dispensaries. Since this is a new type of business included, staff recommends City Council approval of this ordinance as is, and any amendments would need to be reviewed by the city attorney and presented to City Council for recommendation at a future date.
Any questions on pages 54 through 191 of the packet?
No, I like the plan of allowing current businesses to remain, but keep new business from coming in, that kind of stuff. I think if we start going down the removing the current businesses, it's a financial issue that could get pretty dicey, so I like this.
No, I agree. I don't think it's right to change the rules on the existing businesses this far into it.
I'm kind of leaning towards, I mean, the offer, the approach would be a negotiation. So you hear from the school districts, and that huge booklet that was included with this was the harm of having proximity to those, basically the vape shops, to how close those are to the schools. So I think it'd be worth exploring what it would take to enter negotiations to relocate those that are willing. I'm up to exploring that.
Yeah, I'm not against exploring it.
I don't know many places where they could go though, in the city limits.
Yeah, that's what we would find.
Yeah. So at that point, I think we'd probably run across a lot of business owners that would just say, no, buy me out. And their budget's as tight as our budgets tend to be.
Yeah, I'm all for exploring it, but just at this stage of the game, you know, I agree with the recommended ordinance here.
Is that council consensus? Yeah? Any further discussion? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jake.
Oh, you're on the next one too, aren't you? Sorry, we don't have to go anywhere, I'm sorry. There's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 26-0428-01.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. That takes us down to G3. Discussion, consideration, and action on ordinance 26-0526-01, innovative and alternative construction methods, providing regulations for innovative and alternative construction methods. Mr. Hooter again.
Yes, sir. City of White House is proposing this ordinance as a proactive measure to stay ahead of emerging construction industry trends, including 3D printed construction, additive manufacturing, and other innovative or alternative structural systems. While the city has not experienced significant demand in these methods at this time, advancements in construction technology are becoming more common and may eventually be proposed in residential or commercial development. This ordinance establishes clear local standards before these requests arise, ensuring that any future use of innovative construction methods is reviewed for safety, code compliance, energy adequacy, or engineering adequacy, and consistency with zoning and development regulations. The ordinance allows these methods only when performed on-site, when the structure is otherwise permitted in the applicable zoning district, and when all adopted building codes and city requirements are satisfied. It also clarifies that the ordinance does not authorize off-site manufactured, modular, prefabricated, or industrialized housing unless otherwise permitted by applicable law and city regulations, and it does not modify permitted uses, density, or dimensional standards. This was also presented to planning and zoning, and the commission recommends approval by city council.
Any questions from council?
Just to make clear, this isn't saying you have to make a 3D model if you're gonna build a house. This just allows that to be reviewed?
These are houses that are literally 3D printed on site.
So the actual house is 3D printed?
Yes.
Wow, okay,
It's like it's a giant concrete 3D printer.
interesting.
So like you said, we're not getting demand for these, but better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it type thing.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
No houses built out of Legos, though. Well, it didn't say that.
It still has to meet all building
Yes.
code requirements.
Oh, see,
It
that's.
can look like a Lego, just has to.
Any more questions for Mr. Hooter?
Jay, good work.
Yeah, well done. Did you enjoy investigating all that? Was that
Yes,
fun?
I'm glad you did.
On the cutting edge. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Any further discussion, council? All right, if none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve ordinance 26-0526-01.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. Bring your 3D houses to White House. All right, item number 4 is discussion, consideration, and action on a bid for the reconstruction of a lift station located on or about the 1200 block of Highway 110 North in the amount of $428,570 to Caps Capico Construction, Mr. Henderson.
Evening, Mayor and Council. As you all know, we approved the rehabilitation of the State Farm lift station back in January. So they went through all the engineering processes, and we just finished the bid process, and we had 5 bids ranging from $428,000 all the way up to $887,000. And when the bids came in, the engineers recommended that we had another project that we were working on with the drainage issue behind Red Wing, and with that added into it, it still came out with the lowest bid at $428,000, and the original OPCC was at $475,000.
For both.
Yes, for both.
Okay. Got to rebuild a lift station.
If you don't, if it ain't working, you got a big problem.
You start sliding backwards.
Got a question.
Okay.
TJ, good job. And also, do you have appropriate signage on that? It's inside a fence, right?
Yes, sir.
You have appropriate signage on that fence, like
Yeah, it
keep
has
out,
for,
warning?
and it also has the emergency after hours numbers if anybody notices it.
Good job.
And just to remind everybody, what would it cost to replace that lift station instead of rebuilding?
Well, that's basically what it's
So-
building from. The only thing they're not replacing is the wet wells.
Okay.
And they're just basically, they're gonna clean it, grout all the cracks, and then actually line it. So it basically would be almost a new
Like
wet
brand
well,
new.
but
It
other than
just,
that, everything from the ground up will be brand new.
it just flat wears out. That's the whole deal.
I believe that one was put in back in '77, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's one of the only above ground pump lift stations we have.
Just for the record, I was put in 75. All right, any questions for TJ?
You're handling the same.
Sorry?
I said you're not handling the same volume, Mayor. That was.
I feel like I'm handling a lot.
Anyway.
All right, thank you, Mr. Henderson, appreciate that, TJ. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the reconstruction of the lift station located at the 1200 block of Highway 110 North in the amount of $428,570 to Capco Construction.
Second?
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. Item number 5 is discussion, consideration, and action on Resolution R26-0526-02, adopting a Smith County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Chief Johnson.
Mayor and council, good evening.
Good evening.
I come before you tonight seeking approval, blessing, and adoption of the 2026 Smith County Hazard Mitigation Plan. This is a plan, I'm going to familiarize you a little bit, basically features and benefits of why we do this. It has to be done by state law every 5 years. This particular time, Smith County chose a third-party agency to come in and assist them with this hazard mitigation plan. So what is a hazard mitigation plan? It's multi-components, but I'm going to condense it down for you. It identifies a specific region, a jurisdiction, and it identifies hazards based on historical data, whether it be weather, such as drought, wildfires, storms, ice storms, tornadoes, man-made hazards, factories, hazardous materials, wildland areas, even down to dams and earthquakes. So it's very comprehensive. And then the second fold to it, it identifies on the local level the first responders and their capabilities, emergency management partners, the physical resources such as tools, equipment, machinery, and just overall the regional capability and sustainability during a disaster of any kind. So what are the benefits during a disaster of being part of the hazard mitigation plan? Well, the number one goal is we are all inclusive in Smith County, and there's a threshold, a financial threshold that once a disaster has been declared, once that threshold, that dollar amount is met, then we are eligible for different types of state and federal funding for both mitigation and for recovery. So that's the first big thing. If we were to do it independently as a small city, that would be a really high number and it would have to be a catastrophic event for us. So in all essence, it makes more sense than us getting collectively in with all other municipalities in the Smith County plan. The non-disaster benefits, it makes us way more eligible for state and federal grant opportunities. Okay, we have even gone through and I've identified projects for our city specific. And when those grant opportunities come up, since we have identified certain projects within our city, it increases our eligibility. So that's another big reason. So in a nutshell, the adoption will ensure regional coordination in the event of a disaster. It ensures mitigation support from all of our emergency management partners. It ensures recovery and eligibility for the city and the public sector, as well as for individual assistance and our residents. So I am seeking your approval of the 2026 Smith County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Any questions?
So we have a local emergency response plan that covers like where we stage and certain events. Does that tie into the?
It does not tie in. That is for this is the mitigation plan is really on a bigger scale. So the planning we have done here locally in the city is more of a direct impact, a 24-hour sustainability. What can we do to keep things going, take care of our citizens, eliminate any more threats, that sort of thing. It's on a much smaller scale.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of this hazard mitigation plan is really kind of the state and federal way of jumping through some hoops so that they know that you kind of know what you're doing to help you get grants, right?
Right. And since we've spelled it out, they know when we're asking, oh my, they didn't have this. It makes sense they're asking for
Information.
this resource because, well, it's clearly in their mitigation plan. They don't have these types of resources in their region.
Yeah. And so you're responding and not reacting, right?
Right.
This gives you a plan.
Right.
Yeah. 1,358 pages.
Yeah, I'm sure you read all of them.
I skipped to the White House parts in each section.
Enjoyed the maps.
Yeah. Any questions for Chief?
None for me.
Good job.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, thank you. Well done. All right, we have a hazard mitigation plan in front of you, open for adoption. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution R26-0526-02, adopting the Smith County Hazard Mitigation Plan as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in motion say aye. All those in favor say aye, sorry.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. With that, the motion carries. We have a plan. All right, our next item is discussion, consideration, and action on awarding the bid for Forestdale Park construction. Playing the part of Aaron Martinez will be Mrs. Black. Well, we did have somebody sign up to speak on this. Do you want to go ahead and let them come up?
Yes, sir.
Butch Hall, if you'd like to come up and state your name and address. You're familiar with the process, and let us hear what you have to say.
I'm Butch Hall, and I live at 3706 Lake Vista Circle in Highland, and I'm the developer, the builder, do all the selling as well for the Forestdale development. 2019 in the fall, I know many of you can remember, I know Susan definitely remembers this, that we did our groundbreaking for the first planned development in White House. And we were so excited with it. We actually had the residential, the commercial, the townhomes, and the mainstay was the park. Now, Ping's not here, my wife Ping's not here because I shipped her off to China for 2 weeks. But her number one goal was to get that park put in. She said, you need to put that park in first. I said, no, we gotta have a road there first. So finally, we get a road in. And my parents always said, always respect and tell people thank you for doing something great for you. And I'm here tonight to tell you thank you, City Council. This has been a remarkable process. Thank you for putting up the money to build this. I know it's a big step for the city. We're very thankful for knowing that you care that much about the residents in that area. I think it's a stepping stone for the big park that we're going to have planned here. It's a learning experience for everyone, and I just want to tell you thank you very much. We really do appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Butch. All right. Any comments or questions from council on this subject? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve construction contract with Schumacher Construction in the amount of $427,107 for Forestdale Park project and authorization for the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. That takes us down to item number 7, discussion, consideration, and action on funding for Christmas on Main decorations. Playing the part of Aaron Martinez will be Ms. Morgan.
Mayor and Council, this item is a request to approve the allocation of $17,650 in sponsorship funds raised for Christmas on Main towards the purchase of new Christmas decorations for the city. These funds were received through community sponsorships supporting Christmas on Main. Staff believes investing these funds into the updated holiday decorations is a great opportunity to continue improving the overall atmosphere of Christmas on Main. The photos are just an example of what the Parks and Facilities staff has in mind, not necessarily the exact decoration items to purchase, just to kind of give an idea of what we're thinking. These purchases would not require any additional general fund dollars, and staff recommends approval.
Did we do this last year?
We did not. So we have not allocated any funding for updated Christmas decorations in probably
70 years.
5 or 6 years. The additional star on the top of the tree, I think, was probably the last thing that we did as far as Christmas decorations, and that's been probably 6 years ago now. So as staff is talking about updating it, understanding that what we have has been aging and has experienced some wear and tear, looking for funding opportunities to find a way to fund that, we felt like taking the sponsorship dollars that we've received for 2025 would be a good way to allocate some funding towards those items.
So I guess one of my questions is, do you think the $17,650 would be enough to do the things that, because our Christmas on Main has become
Yes.
a great event. It's a
Yes.
2-day event. We're having great exposure for the city. The children love it. I mean,
Correct.
So having decorations that match how great the event has become is very important to me for sure. So do you think that'll be enough?
I think that's a good start. Let us see what we can get for that, and then, we can always add to it year over year as well, so.
Yeah, I think we added a layer to the tree one year, so that tree is modular. You can add bigger pieces at the bottom, and it gets taller as you hoist it up. So if it's time for another layer.
I think it's great. I'd be up for more funds too, if we need more to really do it right.
Those things that we install in the corner, they're held together with duct tape and baling wire.
There you go.
Those desperately need.
And a mixture of different screws?
Mayor, you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, and we're missing some of the screws. I think I found one next to one of the drains. There was a screw in a drain. And
It's done real good for 20 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, they do a good job of dusting them off and storing them well. But is that where we're replacing it? Is there on the four corners? Is that where some of these are going?
I think that's part of
That's our plan.
Good.
This was the first step. The second step was to kind of see, what is in the most dire need of replacing and updating.
Those would
and
be
then,
I like the animatronic one on the corner. It waves at you.
When it works.
When it works, yeah.
I noticed it quit, you know.
It
It
quits.
sounds like a timer.
Yeah, and it makes it goes. If you roll down your window, you hear it going.
But in all fun,
These are pretty old too, because I remember getting those a long time ago.
but in all fun, just like our new sign down in the corner, it really makes a statement about the city. So.
That down there is a strategic place in this city. Very important.
Okay. Any more questions for Ms. Morgan? Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for stepping in. All right. Any more discussion or questions from council? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the allocation of $17,650 in Christmas on Main sponsorship funds for the purchase of new Christmas decorations.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. Oh, I'm sorry, Morgan. So, item number 8 is a presentation of the White House Youth Community Council transition to the FLOW, the Future Leaders of White House program. Ms. Ward, claim Ms. Ward this time.
Hello again. Tonight I'm excited to share, or to present the transition of the Youth Community Council to the Future Leaders of White House program. Since 2021, the YCC has provided students with valuable opportunities to serve their community, learn about local government, and develop leadership skills. Through YCC, we've seen the talent, the creativity, and potential of White House students. As the program continued to grow, city staff and White House ISD staff began discussing ways to expand these opportunities and engage in an even broader group of students. Those conversations led to the development of the Future Leaders of White House, and FLOW. FLOW is designed as an application-based quarterly leadership program focused on civic awareness, leadership development, and community engagement. The goal is to create more structured opportunities for students to connect with local government, community organizations, and one another while gaining firsthand experience that helps prepare them as future leaders. The program is not replacing the foundation YCC created, rather it's building on it. Current YCC students will continue to have an important role by serving as a leadership council for FLOW and helping guide the program and mentor future participants. We also plan to incorporate a service and events committee to continue the strong community service aspect that has always been central to YCC. Ultimately, this is an opportunity to strengthen the partnership between the city and White House ISD while investing in the next generation of leaders in our community. I appreciate your time and look forward to the continued growth of this program.
Yeah, so I gotta say, I'm impressed that you guys saw something that needed to change, and instead of saying, oh, it'd be a lot of work, we're just gonna, push it aside. You put the effort and thought into figuring out what would work best for the students that we have, that are coming through the programs. And I talked to Caden Black, our original mayor of the YCC, and told him what we were doing, and he's even excited about it. He just got accepted into the medical school, by the way. He's gonna be a medical student there at UT Medical School. I think this is great. It exposes the kids to professionalism, civil awareness, networking. I think those are showing on the screen right now. But the different pillars of building somebody that you want to engage in your community and showing them that they can make a difference. This all started with that initial group of kids that came in and changed our smoking ordinance. because they weren't satisfied with it, and we wanted to repeat that outcome over and over again. And it became project-based. And I think the project-based was just a lot for these kids to take on. I think they were learning as they go, but managing the project and having sponsors to manage the kids while they're managing projects, it's just a lot. I think the important thing is us instilling into these kids civic engagement and civic duty, and how to get these outcomes at scale is something that's at the heart of this program, and I think it's going to be great.
And that was one of the challenges with YCC was the students we had were so engaged and connected that their time was pretty challenging to get. And so Dr. Taylor is here with ISD, and so that partnership has really helped us already off on a better foot with communication with the students. I think we're in a good place.
I mean, even the symbolism of the name changed, because when I first started interacting with the Youth Community Council, I was like, okay, that person's going to be a councilman, and that person's probably going to be a mayor one day. And so changing it to flow where they know they're going to be the future leaders of our city, it also helps. Just a psyche thing.
Yeah, maybe you don't have to run for council. Maybe you can be a leader somewhere else.
Well, I believe that this program inspires our young people. Anything we can do in this modern time to get moms and dads and kids or anybody to get more a part of their government, I'm for it 100%.
And I saw the stakeholders you involved, including White House ISD, and I see Ashley's here with the chamber, and bringing all those organizations together to help build these kids up is great.
As it grows, is $3,000, is it still enough for their annual budget?
I mean, I think that's what we had allocated for their projects that they identified. Is that correct?
There's 3,000 allocated for projects and 3,000 allocated for their annual conference. So that does give us, I think, a great starting place as we move forward with programming.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the trip to the annual conference is great for these kids too, because, like you said, these kids are involved in everything. They're all in the same things together. Like they're in SHAC, they're in junior league, they're in all the things together. To go out and meet other kids and get ideas from those other kids is inspiring oftentimes for them. So, but yeah, good point, Councilman. So keep an eye on this program is something that we believe in wholeheartedly. So if they need more support, we're here for them. Thank you, Mrs. Ford. All right. You have a flow program in front of you. We're looking to approve the transition. This is an action item, right?
No, sir, it's just a presentation.
Okay, yeah.
There's no significant budgetary impact or, it's just a shift in the way we're gonna operate that program, unless you all have any concerns.
And a slight change in the name.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, really appreciate the time and effort to put into transforming it into something that's even better than what we had before, so thank you. All right, that brings us down to item 9, discussion, consideration, and action, the municipal complex concept plan. Mrs. Black.
Mayor and council, you all may remember, several years ago, we enacted our first capital improvement plan. We had a citizen committee that came together and reviewed possible projects, and as a result of that, several projects rose to the top, 2 of those being a new fire station that could adequately serve our fire department personnel, and renovation and expansion of City Hall due to the ADA limitations of this building that we're currently in. And tonight, I'm excited to have half, Blake Whitney with half will be here to present the conceptual improvements. So the task for half on this was to take a look at all of our property that we own, from right out here at this corner at Bascom and 346, all the way to the railroad tracks and all the way north to the backside of the wreck, and really come up with a plan that would serve our citizens well into the future, and take a look at how we can maximize all of the property that we have here as a functional space to tie in the city center and really serve our community as the heart of our community. So with that, I'll turn it over to Blake.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Blake Whitney.
Blake Whitney. Welcome to White House, Blake.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me here today. We're going to be talking about the concept plan for the city municipal complex. The existing conditions are the fire station is on the southwest portion of the property, as I'm sure you're all aware, and here we are in the council chambers, and City Hall over on the southeast portion of the property. And there's a lot of open space behind the fire station, behind the REC, that's not being utilized too much right now. And then around the whole property, there's limited parking, limited connectivity between everything. And that's some of the areas that we wanted to look at with this conceptual plan. On the overall site plan that you can see here, one of the things that you'll notice is the proposed fire station on the northeast corner of Bascom and Main instead of its current location, utilizing that portion of the city's property. And then the proposed City Hall expansion, including new council chambers and police station renovation in this same exact area that we're at right now, just expanding onto that existing building. And then city park improvements, including improved playground, improved splash pad, basketball court, pickleball courts, and then field space that could be multi-use for soccer fields or could be football practice fields or whatever utilization there needs to be for that. And then connectivity with additional parking and driveways throughout the property, and then also a sidewalk trail that loops around the entire property as well for additional walking trails and running, just to be utilized there. So we have some overall perspectives with renderings that we have here. This is at the southwest portion, looking towards the new buildings. You can see the fire station, City Hall expansion, and the playground areas, and all the sports fields and all too. Our next perspective is going to be looking at the city park. So this is poured-in-place rubber surface around the playground equipment, which is a lot less maintenance than your typical mulch, which is still ADA compliant, but less maintenance to remain ADA compliant and will hold up longer over time, even with the higher initial cost. Our next perspective is City Hall. It's looking into what would be the new council chambers on those windows there. And then there is entryway with an overhang and a lot of big windows with natural light coming into the expanded building, and improved parking, and you can see the new improved sidewalk around that side as well. Our next one would be a fire station perspective. The current fire station was built for the volunteer department capacity, and this brings it up for full-time firefighters with living quarters, a kitchen, covered porch there that you can see that they can grill on, parking for both the public and for the firefighters.
Are those living quarters, are those individual living quarters, or is that a bunk?
So there would be
Partitions?
6 different rooms that have beds in them.
Individual dormitories.
Individual dormitory style, like what we saw in we went and
Yes, sir.
toured Jacksonville's, okay, cool.
Which is needed and we don't currently have.
Correct.
There's no privacy right now.
Right.
Is 6 gonna be enough? A
For
pumper?
the next 40 years.
Room for expansion, correct, Chief?
And put a second floor and finally get my fire pole whenever.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
And the design of that fire station does complement the expansion of the city hall with similar features that we can talk about a little bit later on in the presentation. This next slide is a perspective looking at the pickleball courts and basketball courts, and you can see the walking trail that meanders through that area as well. And then this last perspective is looking at the REC at the rec with the improved parking and the field space behind it. This is showing with soccer fields with fence and nets to protect balls from going off and hitting cars in the parking lot or just getting away from the fields. And now all of these renderings too, it is conceptual in nature. It could change with the layout. One of the things with the fire station that we are working with TxDOT right now to see what driveways they'll allow us to have and what locations they'll allow those driveways at. So as we continue those discussions, it could change slightly, but the general concept and idea remains the same. These are some of the architectural renderings from Fitzpatrick Architects, and we actually have Josh Steed with Fitzpatrick here. I'll let him talk a little bit about the building materials between the fire station and City Hall expansion.
Yes, sir, come on up. Guy that likes to brag about materials, let's hear it.
Hi, I'm Josh Steed. I'm with Fitzpatrick Architects. We're super excited about this project. Like Blake was saying, we're really sensitive to the materials that we're using here. We really like the city center, that it's just a jewel for White House. So we want to kind of complement that. You can see from this rendering, we're showing some kind of stone, some metal panels. What you're seeing on the soffit there, that is metal panel that is going to look like wood, potentially.
Good.
So all of these are low maintenance. We're not introducing any windows that would be considered too large, that everything could be shaded properly. Next slide. So this is a view of the police station. We'd be renovating that facade and then tying it in together with the city hall. So all of that would kind of complement, and it would look like one copacetic building. This is the fire station. It's kind of the view from Bascom Road. It is about 13,400 square feet right now. 3 bays, and you can see the patio has a large overhang. And so we also wanted to just make sure that these buildings, since they'll be right next to each other, that they kind of complementary. And we feel like this corridor would be a very kind of a civic thing for White House to have. Having these two buildings there. You'll also notice the structure kind of makes W there, so a little bit of a nod to White House. Could be a fun thing to have. But lots of the language between the buildings would be masonry and metal, very simple materials to maintain. And so, like Blake said, we're still looking at how this is going to work, and it's still schematic, but we like the way it's coming together right now.
Excellent. Josh, was it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Close this out.
Any questions that the council has at this point? Our recommendation is to move forward with looking at phasing for the steps that we want to move in, going forward, the order and how the construction would look between those, so that we don't build one portion of it and then it doesn't line up with everything else.
So just to be clear, the funding we have in place, that we've already set aside, would be for the fire station, the city hall, and some of the park, but a lot of the other renderings is kind of like a future plan where it would tie them together?
Right, and that's what we would look at with the phasing, is seeing what all we can cover with the funds that are already set aside, and then the renderings are the future, the whole idea
of the area.
Years down the road.
But the phase one would be the fire station, the city hall, and the portion of the park there.
Ideally, yes.
That would be
Which
staff's
portion of the
recommendation.
park?
Staff would recommend starting with the playground space, because of the area that would be impacted with the demolition of the existing fire station and the need to add parking when City Hall is under construction. We would recommend starting with the southernmost portion of the park improvements first, and then working our way to the north.
So we wouldn't initially have the pickleball, basketball
Correct.
courts, splash pad would remain how it
Soccer.
is. What about the cut-through road? Is that the cut-through road would reach a certain distance to the northwest?
It would reach a certain distance, it probably wouldn't reach very far, based on the funding that we have today.
And that's the one that runs along the current railroad tracks side?
Yes,
Yeah, but it would have that parking there as a part of it?
I would think so. I would think the first phase, we would need to do parking there, because again, the parking that will be impacted with City Hall renovation and construction, and the demolition of the existing fire station, we'd need to go ahead and convert at least a portion of that to roadway parking in the short term.
Yeah, that cut-through road is great because it'll be a city-owned road. We can shut it down for our events. We can
Start the
bring
parade there.
food trucks. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we couldn't we? Huh. I like that it starts and ends at the same place, but yeah, it's something to think about. So yeah, it's a great That's a great plan. I like how it's cohesive. I know mobilization, planning, making sure the minimal amount of disruption is what I've learned from our neighbors to the north. Like, thankfully, we're not doing this in a busy downtown with a bunch of restaurants and stuff that are currently operating. That's good and bad. I mean, I wish we had a downtown that was as lively as what they've got, but we got a blank canvas and we're trying to paint something that's gonna be timeless. So.
Well, the two biggest portions of this for me is it's funding we've already set aside, so it won't impact tax increases, anything like that. And then in this building, it's not ADA compliant. In the fire station, we can't have female firefighters because we don't have the proper quarters. So this all gets us up to where we need to be, and it's not just a bunch of new metal buildings, so.
Questions? Now, does that mean we're tearing down the fire station, right? Totally?
Right, once the new one is.
Okay, 3 bays is gonna be plenty, chief? 3-bay fire station?
Yes, Councilman, they're gonna be 3 double-stacked bays.
Okay.
So they'll be longer, we'll be able to put 2 trucks.
Administrative offices, workout room, all that good stuff. I know it's been well thought of, I'm just making sure.
We're still in conceptual phase right now, so while we do have some preliminary floor plans, they are not by any means final. We have not started construction documents or anything like that, so it is all just very conceptual at this point.
What's the ballpark on time, getting started?
So we need to issue an RFQ for architectural services would be our next step if you all approve this, and that's where we would head from there. It'd probably take us 60 to 90 days to get that back, approve an architect, and move into construction documents.
So this will serve us, if all things go right in the current growth rate of White House, which is amazing, this could serve us in the next 10 years, 15, probably.
Longer than that.
Probably next 50 years.
20 to 30 at least.
20 to 30.
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, you think about this, and we've got the park that we're developing over on Cheyenne. Like that park space, this park space, this is almost like a pocket park now compared to what we're doing over there. So the vision on this is great. And we got that basketball, we got the basketball court over by the city center. I see kids playing out there all the time. It's amazing how many kids are just out there playing basketball. Giving them an excuse to get outside, I love it.
Anything shaded in our part of the country is a blessing. But anyway.
And Mayor and Council, one reason for phasing the park improvements, Texas Parks and Wildlife does an annual call for projects that were eligible to up to $750,000, I think, based on our call today, every year to apply for that. And so it requires a 1-to-1 match, and so, but you're eligible to apply for a project every year. And so that would really maximize our dollars over the long term. So having this concept plan so that we're ready to go with those projects that may be applicable to those funding sources is really important. So we're looking at that over the long term. We're thinking about grants 5, 10, 15 years from now as well. And so really trying to be mindful and prudent with those dollars and maximize them every way that we can.
You know what I like? I like the uniformity look. Stone. It's all, it's not extreme over here. I like the uniformity.
Right, and that's something we wanted to make sure that
It
the
creates
buildings
a
all flow
mental,
together.
we're all cohesive and we're all on the same page kind of mentality. So,
I think also reducing those unnecessary costs in construction and design. Fitzpatrick, I think, has done a great job of adding elements that are similar to city center, but are more cost effective to implement in the design. So that was one of our asks of them, and I think they've done a great job of implementing that in this concept plan as well.
And with both projects kind of going on at the same time, that'll help too, using the same materials or a lot of the same.
So that's one of the things we're looking at. Is there a way to save on mobilization costs and just construction fatigue overall, but really maximizing our costs on those materials? Getting the stone from the same quarries at the same time is important. We'll look at all of that as we start moving into construction documents and really understanding how we want to piece those projects together.
So basically, you did city center and you said, let's do 2 more.
I did city center and I said I learned an awful lot. But Mayor and Council, we have some real needs. Holding city council meetings in this building, holding our municipal court in this building, when it is not ADA compliant, it's it's 2026. This is not while it is gonna be a beautiful building, it's not a nice to have, it's a have to have at this point. We need a safe facility for our firefighters so that they can get the rest and operate in a way that reduces their exposure to carcinogens. All of those things are critically important. While yes, they're gonna be beautiful buildings that I think will serve our community well, I think these are things that we really need to move forward on.
Not to mention just staff alone, we don't have room to expand if we wanted to hire somebody to.
If I've learned one thing, it is you've got to plan. You can't wait, you know, on city, you have to reach into the future. You just can't, you got to do it. You
And
gotta
that is
plan.
one of those things that helps too with grant opportunities.
And I wasn't aware of that before I got on the council, I mean, so much, you know, so.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate the work staff's doing. All right, we have action on this one, so any further discussion or questions? No? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the proposed concept plan and direct staff to move forward with the required processes for procuring architectural services.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, we have a plan. Item number 10, consider future agenda items.
Okay.
Any agenda items?
So we will have an item with the water quality report for public comment. And then I think the fire chief may have a presentation also, ready by next month. If not, maybe another month.
Maybe.
Okay.
Still wrapping my mind around it.
Let me know when
I'm
you're
sure.
ready.
Ms. Black, is it too late on G1 to just have staff look at other cities if there is opt-out plans in place for other cities? Maybe there's an example we could at least look at and consider?
We can do that.
I couldn't find any, but
Anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, audience, I didn't get you any pictures, but I put pictures in front of each council person today. I'm real closely attached to the library. We've got some trouble at the library, but that means an opportunity. If you notice the back of the library, it looks like a snake-infested, rat-infested menagerie of problems. And it's starting to even encroach upon the police department, the vines and trees and all this kind of stuff sticking through the fence. If you wanna know the truth, you know how much the librarian gets in the city of White House? This is shocking, $12 an hour. Okay, and it looks bad upon the city. You got a crooked light pole out there, and that looks really bad. It looks like a city that doesn't care, which I know we all do care. But I'm just bringing it to your attention. Also, Ms. Black gave me some figures that in 2020, we gave the library $48,000. And in the preceding years, we upped it to $49,000. So $1,000 difference in about 6 years. And I just think we can do better. They need some help over there. So I hope that y'all will consider this for a future agenda item. I'm doing a lot of maintenance myself over there, which I'm glad to do. I'm all insured in my company and everything, and I don't know, I just have a big heart. The kids love that library over there. You wouldn't think with modern technology, kids still love physical books. It's amazing.
So this picture right here, is that private property or is that the library's property?
That's right behind, that's the library's property behind the.
So it's the city property here.
So
Well,
it's all
that's what
city property,
Okay.
but we do not have any agreement with the library that outlines who maintains what.
They don't have.
I was
any
just wondering
money.
where all the beer cans came from.
That's when they were recycling cans.
So they
They
used to
had that
recycle.
bin out there.
Me and the mayor used to, at least for the first year or so, he got me, we volunteered and took cans to the recycle center. You'd be amazed. Aluminum is 70 cents a pound now. And it adds up. We brought back some pretty good checks for the library. And we also, another thing, we need a place that the city can maybe help with recycling. Maybe Republic could help us out on a designated spot, because it adds up. It really is profitable. It can really add $200 or $300 maybe every couple, 2 or 3 months to help with monies. I mean, so, guys, I think we can make this thing work. I really do. But the library wouldn't come to the council, so I came to the council for them, you know.
Would they come to the council with their needs?
I believe they could. I could convince them to do that.
I mean, I'd be for hearing what, hearing what the needs are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a very important entity in our town, you know. And I think we're getting a pothole fixed over there that holds water for about a week and a half.
As soon as we can get some asphalt.
I know, it takes time.
So what happened with this pole? It looks like it's leaning by like 5 degrees.
Backed into it.
What happened is, just like Zach said, the car truck barrier was too close to the pole, so it didn't stop the vehicle from backing up, and it hit the pole. And it's to the point now, probably TJ, he looked at it too, and you gotta have a licensed electrician because it's underground wiring. And if you try to upright it, you could snag, and then you got a big problem with the electric arc or whatever.
And then somebody just hit it again. I mean, I think,
Well,
is the issue that the pole's too close to where it's parked?
well,
Parking?
I corrected that. I fixed it where the truck will get a bump it before you bump the pole again.
How'd you do that?
My skill and my strength.
Just smooth.
Move the bumper.
Smooth the.
Oh,
The
you
curb
moved,
stop.
you moved the curb stop?
I moved the curb stop.
That's the answer I was looking
Strategic
for.
planning.
I had no doubt your physical prowess was involved.
So, but I hope,
But when you described the pole leaning, I thought it was like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I thought it was about to fall over and kill people. This looks like it's barely.
well, it could.
It could, of course it could.
Anything could happen, but it just needs a little TLC, guys, and it's something for us to consider. They're hurting over there, I'm telling you. In the building, you got to have maintenance on a building. You got to have it, or it really gets in trouble.
So are you asking staff to look into what it would cost to fix the light pole?
The light pole, and also clean up that back area back there. I'll volunteer and help out. But it's a snake pit, rats. I mean, it's horrible.
There's snakes.
I can help with that. So we can talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
So you said maintenance on the building. Is there other stuff with the building specifically? Or
Well,
just
you
these?
got some steel up at the top, galvanized steel starting to rust, and it looks unsightly. You got some shingles that are coming loose.
I think it's 80% shingles. I wouldn't doubt it. So,
Yeah. But I mean, the sky's not falling, but it needs some attention, and I think it's time that we maybe give it an honest look.
I think as far as organizations that we donate to that aren't owned by the city, it's the one that we give the most money to by far.
No question.
Probably by orders of magnitude, like how much we invest into them.
This is another subject, but in my opinion, it ought to be a countywide funded.
You'll never get that.
Okay.
I tried for like 4 years.
Yeah. Well, you thought.
They don't want anything to do. If you got a county library in one city, you got to put it among all of them. So they don't want to do it.
Well, at least we're thinking on the same page. You know?
Yeah.
But it's very important, guys.
Okay. So future agenda items, I guess tying back to that somehow. How would you like to see that on a future agenda item?
I say let staff take a look at it and let us address it. Come to a number.
See if staff could talk them into coming in here and speaking with us?
Yeah, and I can do it too. So,
Staff probably be fine.
yeah.
We're asking them to present their needs.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Building needs.
That we're currently not already helping with the,
yeah.
with the donations that we.
And to fixing the leaning tower of light.
And I would even go venture to say I'd paint the light poles myself.
Yellow?
I've got the equipment to do it, so. Anyway,
Okay. Anything else for future agenda items?
thank y'all.
Yep. All right, hearing none, that takes us to the reports from staff. April reports. This is the part where we test the internet.
Last month we didn't have a look.
Heard that.
My screen went black. Okay.
There we go.
She, Mrs. Black wouldn't let us watch it load. That way I wouldn't make any comments while it was loading.
Look
All
at
right.
that sales tax, Mayor.
Yes.
Yes,
It's getting up there. It's no February, but it's looking pretty good. It's close to February.
Mhm.
Yep. People are watering.
Sewer's doing real well.
Because we got a small rate increase in October.
Yeah. So far, we're getting plenty of rain.
Yeah, we're getting it kind of all at once when it comes.
We have been blessed with no storms so far. You know, severe storms.
Yep, everything's looking good.
Water consumption. Okay, so
We jumped up in August.
sure did.
Wait a minute. How did we jump up in August?
No, that's
Purple is 2026.
I'm seeing, but I think it's purple in August, am I not, for water consumption? Okay, it looks different over here.
it's hard to distinguish the colors.
It's a blue and red, astigmatism.
Okay.
All right. Cases sent to collections. Look at July. Dang, that was a record year in '22.
Probably when we started reporting.
Yeah,
Or
after we
that
started
right after
collecting.
COVID, everything put together.
Crime by type. We had a 6-person brawl, and I remember that in March, we had a 6-person brawl. Cut it in half in April.
I have a question, Chief of Police. We will get more officers on the street coming this summer, right?
We'll have a few more.
Few more, yeah.
Our SROs, they sometimes are used while the other officers take vacation and kind of feed them in that way, yeah.
Well, you have summer school too, so.
The SROs tend to take their vacation in the summer.
Oh, man, come on.
Which is good, because that way we're not backfilling during school, so.
Yeah.
I got that backwards.
Chief, where's most of the speedings being done at? Is there kind of one area that's,
Most of it is gonna be on Main and Montana.
okay,
Where do you do most of yours, Councilman?
Memory lane.
It's smiled.
I'll say, don't ask Lieutenant back there.
There's not much we could do with loud exhaust.
I
Just
mean,
can't.
do we have
Boy,
isn't there some kind of brake ordinance that some cities have? But that's diesel.
Jake
right?
brake.
Yeah, that's diesel.
I will say I've noticed a lot more, noticed a lot more dirt bikes and mules and ATVs on the residential streets. And I don't think people understand that that's not allowed. So,
Isn't ATVs allowed though with certain
You can have
With a
golf carts.
triangle?
You can cross the road, but you cannot drive on the road.
Really?
You can have golf carts.
Even, okay.
In
Golf
certain
carts with
circumstances.
with a triangle, right?
On certain streets with a speed limit below a certain amount, and you can cross like
It's
county roads.
approved,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules with it. It's more of a community thing.
I've been to communities that are huge golf cart communities, and they're fun.
Like Seaside, Florida and stuff like that.
Well, it's middle of Illinois. Like, yeah. people
Holly
just
tree.
Park their carts in front of whoever's having a yard party and just pull up over there. And people were lifting them and putting sound systems on them. It was a whole thing.
Well, I heard a car about
Oh,
2
hang
miles
on, let
down
me
the
go.
road the other day.
We're looking at City Center.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had an event this past Saturday, I believe, Mayor.
Yeah, you see banquet hall rentals and training room rentals. Nice.
That is neat.
Excellent. Genesis is covering the Meals on Wheels route now. We got them on Tuesdays. Yep,
Who is?
Genesis.
Well, that's cool.
They hit the lottery on that one. Genesis brings some flowers and all kinds of stuff. So
That's good stuff.
It's good, real good.
all right. Anything on the reports? April reports. We also had an income statement, including your packet. Any questions for council on the income statement? All right. Hearing none, that takes us to item I, executive session, of which we have none, so we won't do J, convene. That brings us to item K, adjourn. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn for the evening and everybody be safe.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, stay here. The time is 7:21 and we are adjourned.
Too late.